What's up, everybody? This is Ricky J. Welcome to another video, and can you tell by my voice, man, I am amped up, man, because ESBC just dropped some alpha gameplay, and I cannot wait to dive into the details with you guys here. And holy smoke, spoiler alert, it's impressive, man. It's very impressive, and it's really nice to see after last week, you know, a lot of mixed reviews on the gameplay footage that they dropped. And holy smokes, I just gotta say, man, I have to respect all of you for showing so much passion and love for this game, so much heated conversation, just trying to make the game better, man. I've never seen so much heated conversation, in particular on a flicker jab, man. But let's move on and see what they have in store this week. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a clip, and then we're gonna talk about it and dive into it. You guys ready? Here we go, baby. Let's go.
So one of the standout features within ESBC is the movement system that we've developed. Here you can see David Adelaide getting himself out of danger by throwing a nicely timed check hook. That in itself is a new feature with regards to the punch control. That means you have complete freedom in terms of your fighting strategy, fighting off the front foot, back foot, and also pivoting yourself out of danger with check hooks, using the pressure of your opponent to your advantage. So within these clips you can see the physics system in action. Not every punch will be 100% accurate. Some punches will glance off arms, gloves, chest, and you can kind of see that with the jabs that have been thrown. Here you can see David fighting off his back foot, throwing a back foot jab and a back foot straight.
Wow. All I have to say, man, is that is pretty impressive to lead things off, man, in this alpha footage here. I gotta say, right away, the graphics are unbelievable. Like, we are now seeing next-gen graphics, and I don't think we've ever seen graphics this good in a combat sports game ever, man. And especially, you know, this is only in the alpha stages, and it looks this beautiful. Amazing. I can't wait for them to, you know, upgrade the crowd, you know, and they say in the commentary that they are working on upgrading the crowd and getting into the fine details. But as far as the boxing models, man, the boxer models, they are top notch for sure. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, you know, the punches, you know, there was a lot of talk about the punches last week, saying there wasn't a lot of zip on the punches. And I was even saying it too, man. I was just, you know, I've always had faith in them improving the mustard on those punches, but last week it didn't seem like they had a lot of oomph on them, if you know what I mean. But as you see here, David Adelaide throwing fantastic shots, man. Shots where you could actually feel it in your headset, man. You know, and that little check hook was beautiful. Timed it nicely. The movements are great, man. They look a lot smoother than what we've seen last week. And they've always had good movements, in my opinion, but it just seems a little more polished this week. Let me know if you agree with that. But I love the stances, too. You see how Hall and Adelaide have their own unique stances. And it's just really cool to see. I love how Adelaide is able to backpedal, you know, hit Hall with a shot, and then pivot out of the way. You know, like, that is really interesting that you're going to be able to, you know, move in certain directions, not just back and forward, if you know what I mean. Like, you can actually pivot away and get out of danger. As far as the jab is concerned, and a lot of people were talking about that jab, man, last week by poor old Rocky, man. Didn't have a lot of mustard on it, as I said before, but the jab looks really crisp here, you know. And the one thing I love, the sound effects when the punches land. It feels like leather's hitting skin, man. I always, you know, when I used to play, well, I still play Fight Night Champion, but when I really used to play Fight Night Champion, you know, 7-8 years ago, it always sounded like somebody was closing, like closing a microwave, man. It was just so weird how the sound effects were when you landed a good punch, but this is a lot more realistic. The one thing I like, too, is, you know, the punches that you throw, sometimes you're not going to hit that target, and that's realistic. As you see here in this little footage here, this little clip, you know, Adelaide was looking to hit Hall in the head, but he hit him actually square in the chest, and that's really interesting. The new physics, you know, mechanics that they have in this game, you're not always going to hit that target that you are aiming for, and that's what makes it realistic. Very, very excited to see this game in its complete element, because what I'm seeing here right away is something to get really excited about, man. Look at this. Beautiful job. I love seeing Adelaide just get on his bicycle and, hit Hall with shots. It's absolutely incredible. But let's go on to the next clip, baby.
Hi guys, this is Ethan. I'm a gameplay programmer here at SCI, and I'm here to talk to you about the feint system. So the feint system can be activated by using the same button as block, but instead of holding it down, you just tap it. So you can do a feint while you're throwing a punch, while you're throwing a lunging punch. You can use it to interrupt your punch altogether and just throw a different punch completely. So you can see here in this clip that I'm throwing a leaping left hook to the body. I cancel the punch after I've done part of the animation, and I transfer into doing a left uppercut to the head. So this is useful for mixing it up with your opponents so they can expect one attack from you, but you actually do a different attack instead.
Oh yes, simply beautiful. I'm so glad they added feinting shots in this game. The reason being, you're going to be able to outsmart your opponent, and especially when you're playing online, feinting is going to get your opponent guessing, and that is one of the most satisfying things in a combat sports game, when you kind of plant that seed that you're going down low or going up high, then going the other way by using your feints. It really is satisfying, using your strategy to get your opponent thinking, and adding the feints really give you that opportunity to bring your stand-up game to life. You know what I mean? Because, imagine this. You're facing a guy, you're ripping up that body, you're doing such a great job. His body health is, totally in the red, and then you feint down low, and then you go with a big uppercut up high and totally hurt him, getting him guessing, getting him on his toes, not knowing where we're going to go. That's all in the feints, man. All in the ability to feint your punches. And I just cannot wait to add my own little style. And you're going to add your own style too, man. Using different ways of feinting punches to, start another attack. I cannot wait. And it looks so good. It looks so smooth. It looks very flowing as well, man. It looks like it's going to be obviously a key part in everybody's offensive game in their boxing simulation for sure.
I thought I'd just give you a quick overview of animation systems. So our movement system was really fast and fluid. We wanted to get away from the sort of standard sort of clip-based animation where you kind of like loop clips to put movement together. It just looks a bit robotic to me. So we've got a new system where it isn't done like that. It's much more performance-based. So that's really good, because when the professional boxers come in, they can just do what they do best. They know how to move. We're not telling them how to move. They do the movement based on what they would really do in a fight. We have our own motion capture studio, so that they can come in and we can just let them do their thing within certain constraints that we give them, so that we can capture the best parts of their movements, their traits, and all their punches and blocks and movesets. They're all captured here. There's no traditional animation as such. It's all motion captured.
Holy smokes, man. The movement in this game is already unbelievable. And the ability to motion capture their fighters is really going to add to the uniqueness of each individual fighter. And as you heard here, every fighter is going to have the ability to go in there and they're going to get their uniqueness down and add that to the game. So every boxer that you use in this game is going to be very unique to their real life counterpart. And that's all because of the motion capture ability, man. And I really feel like there's no game out there that has grasped this technology, and I compare it to EA Sports UFC 4, where, every single guy pretty much moves exactly the same. And in this game, the boxer uniqueness is what's going to make this game so much fun to play, in my opinion, just because every boxer that you use is going to be a totally different experience. And having that in this game is something that is going to make you want to go back and just try out different boxers, because like I said, it's going to be a totally different experience every boxer that you use. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts on the footwork. I'm very excited, man. Totally excited. Looks fluid, looks realistic. it already looks ready, man, even in the alpha stages.
So the adrenaline system was introduced because we wanted something more than just a stamina bar depleting. We wanted there to be the element of really going after a fighter if you think they're in trouble, or if you just want to get them out quickly. So what the adrenaline system does is once your heart rate reaches a certain BPM, your stamina will max out. But as you can see here, the downside to that is your maximum stamina reduces significantly. There's also a cooldown timer on this, so you have to really pace your fights, otherwise you could end up being gassed out after 3 or 4 rounds.
Wow, man, the adrenaline system looks very promising. The reason being because I really feel like if they get it right, it really is going to simulate exactly how a boxer feels in a fight. So, if you've ever been in a fight and you feel like you have your opponent hurt, man, your adrenaline kicks in and you want to go in there and go in for that finish, you know what I mean? But here's the problem, man. If you don't get that finish, you're going to be absolutely exhausted. And we've seen that before inside MMA and even inside boxing, where guys feel like their opponent's hurt. Their adrenaline kicks in. They try to go in for the finish. They can't get it done. And then they're absolutely gassed out for the rest of the fight. So in this game, you have to be very mindful of your strategy, man. You got to really look at your opponent's condition, see what state they are in the fight. If you feel like you have them hurt and you want to go for the finish, you have to, pick your spots properly, then go full throttle, try to get it done. But remember that if you feel like it's not going to happen, you got to dial it back. And I feel like with this adrenaline system, you have to be very mindful of that stamina game, because if you don't, you're going to be put out in the later rounds for sure. And the one thing I love what this gentleman said is the cooldown system. If you go and start throwing crazy combinations, crazy shots, you got to take a step back and kind of breathe and relax to just get your stamina back, get your heart rate down, or else you're going to totally gas yourself out. What I'm hoping for is that break in the fight, I'm hoping it's longer than what we've seen in other fights, in not other fights, excuse me, in other games. Because in other games, they do have a stamina system, but I feel like a guy can just back up for like 3 seconds and then he's totally fine. I hope in this game that, your moment where you need to kind of relax to get that heart rate down, I hope it's longer than what we've seen. Let me know if you agree with that. I just feel like it will slow down the pace of the fight, make it realistic, and that's what I want personally, in my opinion. But let me know. But I love this adrenaline system from what I've seen so far, and let me know your thoughts on it as well.
So we wanted fight stances to really make a difference in terms of what you decide to have for your fighter. As an example, the Philly shell will block certain body punches. So rather than you having to always press block to block a certain type of punch, you can let your stance do some of that for you. Each stance will have a pro and a con to balance things out.
So the cool thing about the fighting stances is that the physics in this game are going to help you block punches that you sometimes won't be anticipating just based on your fighting stance. So as the gentleman mentioned, with the Philly shell, the way you hold your hands, you're going to be able to block punches with this cool and unique and realistic physics engine. So I really feel like this is going to be another step in the right direction in terms of adding the realism factor to this game, because your stance will definitely be that deciding factor in your style, if you know what I mean. So if you're going to be a Philly shell style, a boxer, you got to be able to understand that you need to be very athletic and experienced. You have to understand how to counterpunch properly, but you're also going to know that the way you hold your hands, you're going to be able to block certain parts of your body, and hopefully it'll be advantageous to you. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get knocked out. So your stance is going to be very, very important, which I'm very excited about, man. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this for sure.
So the counterpunch system works really well with the movement, as well as the range of punches available, whether it's front foot, back foot, or to the side.
All right, let's talk about this counter-punching system. And right away, let's look at the first clip. You see Hall coming in here with a big bomb hook looking to land on Adelaide. And look at this nice little step back by Adelaide. Steps back, plants the feet, and goes with a jab. I was hoping he would go with a nice little cross, but he goes in with a nice jab. Looks very fluid right there. That was pretty awesome. But look at this right here. And now we have Adelaide playing possum a little bit, and then he goes for a wild hook, nice little duck under by Hall, and then he lands a nice uppercut right there. That was very smooth. And look at this right here. Eddie Hall stepping to the left, going with a nice hook. Let's look at that again. Holy cow, man. That was some great speed by Hall. Holy cow. This comes in. Let's look at it right here. Nice. Goes to the side and lands a nice little hook to the body. So that was very brief, but those counter shots looked very promising, looked very fluid. And can you tell I'm excited, man? I am so excited for this game to drop. And I always say, take your time with it, man. Take your time with it. We've been waiting a long time. We could wait a few more months or half a year. I don't care, man, but I hope they get it right. And I'm very confident they will. But let me know your thoughts on the new footage here. Let me know if you have any concerns on what you've seen. And let me know what you're excited about, man. Let's get all amped up, man. I cannot wait to see what happens when this game drops. And remember, I'm not getting emotional, by the way. I just had KFC upstairs. That's why I burped. But anyway, remember this. The stages of this is pretty early, man. We're in the alpha. Then they go beta. And then they drop the final game. So what we're seeing right here is a vast improvement from last week. I cannot wait to see what else they have in store. And I cannot wait to see the beta, hopefully in the next 3 months or so, man. Who knows? But anyway, I'll stop rambling. Love you guys. Have a fantastic week. This is Ricky J, man. Peace and love. I'm out.